I got the Hall of Fame crew with me. Sarah for coaching, Gabby for building a business and
The
being the best
support.
softball player on the screen here today. Fight me. I'm not wrong.
Love this topic. It's going to be fun, y'all.
Yeah.
I bullied a lot of people into this, a lot of people into hiring admins, and none of them are sorry that I did it. None of them.
Yeah.
Not
I
one.
did it out of necessity to have sanity.
Yeah.
Like the admin stuff, and we'll give you all the main topic for today, and I'll lay it out for everyone. Gabby and I will kind of do an intro here, but just a little bit of backstory. I'm not the type of person that likes to look at a spreadsheet. I don't
Mhm.
like to read emails. I don't like to do anything outside of my genius, and anything that's outside of what I enjoy doing is something that causes friction, and I delay and I procrastinate. And thank God I married the woman that I did, and we decided to go in on this business together because she has all the strengths that I don't. But we couldn't leverage that super early on in the business because, Gabby, this is one thing that you wrote me about that was important to bring up. Like, we had to focus on production. We
Yeah.
couldn't just say, "Hey, you're the admin. That's all you." Because if we really did that early on, Gabby, I would have been a revenue generating employee. Like, look at this as a business. I would have been a revenue generating employee, and she would have been on payroll. Imagine being a brand new agent, essentially, right? We didn't have payroll set up back then, right? We weren't paying
Oh,
ourselves like a W-2 back then or anything fancy, but essentially I would have been paying her to do the work for our agency instead of having her generate revenue for our agency to grow it.
right.
So we couldn't do that as brand new agents at 90% or 85%. We needed to both produce. So yeah, I'm excited for this topic too, Sarah. It's gonna be good. Gabby,
And
what's
we
up?
do our roll call because this is, this spiel every week.
I
Like
knew
this
you
is
were going to
not.
come in with that. Let me
Yeah,
do my
we
roll
have to.
call.
This
But
is
yeah.
not just one more show to plug into. And actually, we're just
Yep.
talking to our accountability group about this. Like the Mac room has become such a high value, so much to play. And I love all of them so much. I love Unstuck. I find myself being like, oh my God, I don't want to miss Unstuck. Like it has become like my favorite channel, this Mac room. And I don't want to miss any of it. But truly, if you plug into every single call live plus accountability, that could be 10 hours a week. Right. So you guys have to be really, really careful about which shows you want to plug into, what makes the most sense that you want to catch live, and then decide which one do I want to catch the replay. So if Unstuck is one that you're like, man, I just don't want to miss it, let that be one of your replays. Or maybe that's the one you want to catch live. Like decide. I would say if you're brand new, I wouldn't miss a top producer on Tuesday with Michael. I wouldn't because making money is what first rule in business is making money and staying in business, right? So I wouldn't miss that. If you're in the learning curve of production, wouldn't miss that on Tuesdays, but truly decide, and we added up the hours on the deck yesterday. I'm here with Cuppernells, and you should, if this is full time, it's 40 hours. That still leaves 30 hours to work this business
Right.
if you're honest with yourself, even if you're plugging into all of it. But you have to also realize the energy that sometimes you give by being on calls makes you feel like you've worked and makes you feel kind of tired, makes you feel like emotional or like, man, that was so good. Even, that's all energy, right? And you've got to protect your production energy so you can stay in business because we want you to stay here. We want you to love it here, y'all, but we also want you to make money, right?
Yeah,
And to be the most profitable. So, the
yeah.
last thing I want is for this just to be a show you plug into because this call is called Be a Better Builder. So, our goal for you is every week, turn the notch just a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit stronger of a leader. So, we don't want you to watch it and check it off a list. We want you to watch it and get better. So, this is we are finishing up week 3 of October. Dates and times are hard, right? So let's do a couple things. I want to know because we have already said the perfect mentor, if there is one, is running towards promotion. So what are you working on? What have you decided come hell or high water is happening in October?
Throw it in the chat.
Put in the chat. What is your goal? You better be real clear on what you're working towards.
110, 95, slingshot to 95. Month
Yeah.
two top producer,
Heck
105,
yes.
110,
Okay, Charity. I see you.
That's
Look, these are all
wonderful.
3 digits. I see a lot of 110s, 115s. That's so good. Oh man.
leader.
All right. And it's one thing to be like, I spent a lot of time being like, I want to lose weight. And then I just didn't do any of the work to make that happen, right? Like If this is a specific goal for you, have you figured out exactly what you need to do the next 2 weeks and 2 days to make that happen? Be real intentional about that. All right. Second,
Sarah, there was like so many people that said top producer month two or like month two of a run right now. So hey, keep going. You guys got this.
if you're in month 2 of anything, we don't miss. No, no,
Yeah.
no. You find a way, like just what champions do. Okay. So second, leaders or readers, period. And I would encourage you to not only read, but I would encourage you to journal and really get something out of it. I just picked up the leadership and self-deception. I saw Kelly post about that and I didn't finish
So
it. I
good.
started it and I realized I never finished it. I must have taken it on a trip somewhere. So it's even like water damaged. I had it by a pool somewhere and I'm like, man, I need to finish that. So I just pulled up leadership and self-deception again. Oh, okay. If it's Ashley Tarr's favorite, I will take it. Go in
I
the
love
chat.
that book. I think good for every leader that's I mean, how many times do we think we see something the right way and we're wrong?
Yep.
Yep.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've actually got that one right here.
Keep them coming, y'all.
Yeah,
Like,
I get through it a couple
yep.
times.
I would say self-aware leader, leadership and self-deception. Yeah, the mountain is you. Super good. Um, all right, fierce conversations. Love that. I've done some trainings on fierce conversations and crucial conversations. If you haven't read those, it comes in handy for the rest of your life with family, with children, outside of this business too. All right. So third, we say that people that are running for big goals and especially in leadership are doing their part in production. What are you issuing? We say, especially AO, 10 to 15,000 on your own pen. So what have you issued on your own pen in October? Throw in the chat on your own pen in October. You got to know where you're at.
25,000.
Robbie has issued
Damn, Robbie.
25,000 on, can I borrow $5, Rob?
Steve, 22.
Look at that.
10K already for Rod, 8,000 for Lady. Let's
45
go, Lady.
done.
15K,
Trevor.
Devin. Come on, I'm not surprised, Devin. You're a killer.
She's everywhere. She's on every board. I'm like, Devin, leave some for the rest of us, lady, for God's sakes. The resets, the production.
5K, don't
Devin,
worry, I'm
I'll
coming.
shout out Devin a little bit too. You're an incredible encourager. Good team member. The type of team member that someone would want for sure.
Yep. All right, you got to go do your part. You got to, pace of the
Love it.
leader, pace of the team. And then new writers. How many new writers do you have so far for October? I did a coaching call with a leader, an agency owner, and she said, I'm stuck and it's driving me crazy that I'm stuck. And I said, how many new writers typically a month? And she said, always 2 to 3. I go, well, of course you're stuck. Math is math. 2 to 3 new writers in a base shop or an agency owner will keep you even. Best case scenario. 2 to 3 a month will keep you even. If you want vitality and growth, it's got to be 5 or more. So if you're not getting 5 yellow bars as an agency owner or working towards agency owner, that's the metric. You've got to find your way to 5 yellow bars, 5 new riders a month. Yeah. Okay.
Direct, right, Sarah?
Direct. Well,
Yeah,
it
because
can
if
be.
you
I
have an
mean, direct
AO,
early is direct. That's always the goal. But as your base shop is growing, at least 5 in your agency, but 5 direct is better. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Roll call. I think that's it. Did we miss anything?
No.
All right. All right. I'm gonna let you guys take it from here. Love you
okay,
both.
cool. Gabby, do you mind if I read the text that you sent out just as a pre-course for this, or what do you call it? Precursor for this conversation?
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
I think it would set the tone great for this conversation. So I'm going to read this and then maybe you can go a little bit deeper on what your thoughts were here.
Yeah.
But Gabby and I wanted to run this call. It's really been on my heart lately of like going back to the beginning of my business and feeling like I was wearing every single hat. You know what I mean, Gabby? Like,
Yeah.
if there was going to be someone that was being the sales coach, that was me. If there was someone that was selling, that was me. If there's someone that was reminding people about things and being a good traffic cop, that was me. If there was admin tasks, God forbid, that had to be me. It was usually Kate. There was so many different things, so many different hats that Kate and I had to wear early on. So we'll speak from our perspective as a couple guys, but we're also going to talk on, if you're doing this business solo, how much more probably is on your shoulders early on from wearing multiple hats. And it seemed like it seemed like a phase that we would never get out of, and it felt like we had to be all these things all the time. And
Hmm.
I was kind of taking a step back from this last week and thinking like, okay, well, what really happened over the past few years? It felt like we always made the decision to sacrifice by bringing on the help, or sacrifice by paying for the service, or sacrifice by giving the job away to someone else for a short period of time, that always led to a slingshot in our business.
Yep.
It was like we got comfortable, we sacrificed, and then slingshot. We got comfortable, sacrificed, then slingshot. So we never stayed in that comfortable phase for so long, which is why even at a 115 and 120, we felt broke a lot of the times because we were spending so much on that next level of, maybe it was one more person that we had to hire, or maybe it was one more service that we had to bring on. But we're going to talk about those things today. But we knew that there was an end goal in mind of having this business not be a job. All right. So, and I'll explain a little bit more what I mean by that after I read Gabby's text. But she said, hiring is simply leverage, leveraging time to your advantage by having more hours going into your business. If you're working 40 to 60 hours a week, you're one person. When you leverage someone else's time by hiring them and paying them to do tasks that you can do but are not making you money, you are leveraging more hours going into your business. That's how businesses grow. That's how you stay in your superpower, which is what I called genius a few minutes ago. So elaborate on that for me, Gabby. It's a good start.
Yeah, we had this, and it was through conversations with leaders who were where we want to be. Like that's just how this thing goes, right? Association is everything. And I think it was at Marshall's lake house. There was an incentive or something like that. And we were at Marshall's lake house, and we're probably in a hot tub, right? Like many conversations happen in hot tubs here. And he was talking to us and he was asking us the things that we do in our day. And he was talking about, we were talking about mowing the lawn and cleaning the house and, all of those things. And I remember him looking at Fred and I, and directly at Fred, actually. So like Fred was getting the fire and I was just kind of like standing there. And he was like, Fred, every time you mow the lawn, at this point, like let's just say you're worth $100 an hour, right? Can you imagine how much Marshall is worth an hour at this point? But like he was like, we're just gonna say you're worth $100 an hour. You're probably worth more than that, right?
Oh, yeah.
But for $100 an hour, every time you mow the lawn, I want you to, Gabby, you take a video of Fred, take out $100 bill and light it on fire.
Oof.
Because that's what you're doing when you're spending your time mowing the lawn. And that just hit us like a ton of bricks where we started to understand business in a different way and hours in a different way. And when you're first starting, and this is what Marshall says, right? Your first rule of business is to stay in business. Okay. Like, period, end of story. You have to have that production piece. And in the beginning, you're wearing all these hats and you're working like crazy, right? 60, 70 hours. But at some point, you're going to hit this lid where you're starting to lose money because you're doing everything. And that is where hiring someone has to come in, because you have to have more hours going towards your business, right? When it was just me for 4 years, like four or so years doing this business by myself, I was wearing all the hats. I was the one bringing the energy to our Slack. I was the one bringing the energy to the team. Like, it's exhausting a little bit. You got to keep your head on straight. You have all these hats. But then I attracted my husband into the business. Maybe you attract, your running buddy into the business, whatever that looks like, right? But I attracted my husband into the business. And now my 60, 70 hours was me. And now Fred's putting in 60, 70 hours towards this business, right? And then we hired somebody. We hired an admin, and we've had her since 2022. And it was after that conversation with Marshall in the hot tub. And she's been with us ever since. And I remember, Scott, the first time that she did the slides for our call, Fred and I looked at each other and we were like, whoa. Like, we didn't
I
have
was
to do
actually
that.
just going to bring this up because I'm imagining like you, and I've done this too. We finish the slides like 3 minutes before the call comes on,
Yes,
and
it's
we
the
have all the
worst.
content that I was preparing. I didn't have time for this because dials in the morning. I was preparing content at the gym in a note, like ask Kate. I would come home with these notes. And I'm like, this is what we're going to talk about on the call today. and then finish the slideshow 3 minutes before the call starts, and then I have errors on it, and people are calling me out in the chat, and I'm trying to go through the content in my head and
Yeah.
deliver an impactful message. But I'm sure you were in the same position. It was just like chaos, but I had to do it. I had to wear those hats. I
Yeah.
couldn't hire that out yet at the time.
Right. And so I remember it was a Sunday and Kate had done our Kate, our admin Kate, not your Kate. Your Kate we couldn't afford. Our admin, she one Sunday, the first Sunday she did the slides, we just looked at each other and we were like, we like cracked this code in business, right? And most people don't get there because they have a mindset of spending. Like Scott, I try to correct this language anytime I hear it. Whenever I hear people say I'm spending money on leads, I try to correct it like that. You are not spending money, you are investing
Yep.
money. And it
Great.
was an investment in our admin to do those ads so that we can stay in our superpower and not be last minute filling in ads and then losing what we're doing, right? So I
Yep.
just remember that epiphany of like, whoa, this is business. We are actually treating this like a business. We have an employee, and it was the best feeling ever. And it took that conversation with Marshall to truly visualize like $100 being burned when we aren't doing the money making activities, right?
Yeah.
Like that's essentially what you're doing, and that's why you hire help.
Non-revenue generating activities are
Yeah.
the ones that you want to get rid of as quickly as possible. TJ asked you a question in the chat. When should I hire that first person? And I'm not, what I will try not to do today is tell you who you need and when, because I think that's unique to everyone's
Yeah.
situation. Gabby and I are just going to share our stories and talk about the different types of roles that could be played in your agency. And then Sarah, if you want to bully people in the chat, you can get specific about dates and stuff. But I believe if you're a growing key leader, you need some help. And the way that we started as growing key leaders needing help was there was like this progression through the type of admin that we could afford, right? I couldn't afford a Kellen today. I would have gone broke so fast if I was paying her to do the work for us. So like for me, that was starting with like a $14 an hour admin that worked 6 hours a week for us. They take minutia off my plate. They do the slides, welcome to the team, onboarding contracts, all that thing, all that stuff. And then they tracked a little bit of our stats just so I can at a bird's eye view see everything. But yeah, I think if you're a growing key leader, it's time to get help. And I won't even necessarily say that it's time to hire an admin right away because Sarah, Kate and I talked about this a few times. I just saw your comment in the chat. We really do wish we would have hired a nanny 2 days a week
Yep.
because Kate had to leave the field earlier than she should have, which put us at a -1 on a revenue generating employee. She was generating revenue. If anyone remembers Kate in the field, crushed it, incredible producer. And then she's 7 months pregnant or 6 months pregnant with Liam, and she's feeling like she needs to go and start nesting and getting the house ready and preparing to be a mom. And at that point, it would have been nice once the newborn phase, she was kind of out of that and ready to get back to work, that we had someone helping us a couple days a week because we could have really used the income back with her in the field producing. What's that, Kate? And then she got pregnant again. So two babies back to back. If you guys hear voices coming, like I have my helper here, our house is pretty small, so I can hear her. But yeah, so for us, it would have been probably nanny first. But back to the first admin, it was a $14 an hour admin. I believe our second one was 18, and then we went up to 24. I don't want to talk about what I'm paying now, but it's worth every single penny. Okay. But we had this progression over the last 3 years of the type of caliber that we could afford and what their roles were and how many hours they did. So it wasn't starting off with like a full-time employee. It was 6 hours a week at $14 an hour. Someone do the math for me in the chat real quick. If I paid someone six or $14 an hour for 6 hours, how much would that cost me each week? How much of an investment would that be? Great, great call, Rod. $84? Are you kidding me? That's the cost of two leads. Is that 84 bucks? That's it? Okay, cool. Do my slides for me. Take minutia off my plate. I can stay in production more. Who knows? Maybe I write an extra 2 apps that week and it's a $2,000 positive for me
Yep.
for investing into that person. So if this is convicting you, like just go ahead and pull the trigger on it because it's not a huge investment, but totally worth it. Even if it only helps you get one more hour back with a client, it's paid for.
Yep.
Yep. And I know you love this chart too. One thing that your text to me yesterday really made me think about was a comment that Jim made on it. It was like one of his master agency calls about a year ago. And he said, if you can't walk away from your business and it still runs for you without you there, then you don't have a business, you have a job.
Yep.
Oof. I wanted a business here. I want an operation. I want an enterprise. Like I plan on passing this on to my kids. You know what I mean? So if I remove myself and I was the only producer and I was the only employee and then the business stopped rolling the way that it is, then my kids don't have anything to take over. They may as well like roll up their sleeves and learn how to do the admin work at that point, right? So I wanted to be able to walk away from a business and still have it run. So Gabby, I know you like this visual. If I could get host real quick, I'm going to share my screen and then Gabby, I'd love for you to talk me through what this gap looks like on this visual.
Yeah. And I got something to add about Rob Dyrdek.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So does everybody know who Rob Dyrdek is? I forget what year it was, but he was actually the
It was 3 years ago,
3 years ago, he
my
was the
first conference.
special speaker. Like he was the speaker at conference.
Hmm.
And I know him as like the skater boy, but he's a massively wealthy entrepreneur, right? Like
Yeah.
he's just a badass. And I remember like my one big takeaway from him is he has like a life manual.
Yep.
Like if he were to hire somebody new to run his life, he could hand them that manual. And I remember Fred and I getting done. Like Fred and I are usually like in the lobby on Sunday after conference, like writing down like because you get a lot and we're writing down like, okay, what are we actually going to implement? And one of those was a manual, an admin manual, because we wanted to create like if I can just pass this to an admin and they know exactly what to do, that's freedom, right?
Yeah.
I'm not having to spend all my time training them. There is that upfront, but that's what the manual's for. And I became obsessed with that idea of what is my manual, what's our manual for our business, and that goes back to duplication, right, Scott? Like
Yeah.
if your admin leaves, like what are you going to do? You hand them this manual to your business. This is what you do, this is what you do on this day and that day, and here's how you do reminders, and here's how you bring the
Yeah.
energy and all of that good
If
stuff.
you,
And
if you're
that
hiring
stuff
this person
so
for the
well.
first time, don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help. You can go to your 130 and say, "Hey, could your admin train my new one? Can they just get like an hour or two this week just to kind of
Yeah.
talk about what's most important right now?" So you can leverage your 130's admin or your closest agency owner's admin to train your new admin. That's totally fine too. But Gabby, I like what you said even more. Having a manual that you can pass on is just going to make it a lot easier. Let me share my screen real quick. I think I just got capabilities here. Okay. So Casey showed this at conference. Can you guys see that?
uh yeah,
Yes.
the we don't talk about this enough, the bridge.
Yeah.
Yep, we can see it.
Okay. So Jim's comment and really your text yesterday reminded me of this graphic. Self-employed. Okay. What a beautiful thing. How amazing is it that we get to make our own schedules and work from home and have a opportunity to create time freedom. And guys, put a two in the chat if you think this is just the neatest opportunity ever. It really is. You got to think about it. Gabby, you're doing probably just as many second interviews a week. How many people do we talk to where we're just like, you have no idea what you're in store for yet? This is going to be
Yes.
amazing,
Yeah.
right? So, self-employed is really a cool spot to be, but there's a lot of people in America that are self-employed. There's a lot of people think about hairstylists and lawn services and think about real estate agents, think about all the different types of services and then sales jobs too. There's a lot of different 1099 roles out there that you can sign up for sales jobs. So self-employed means that you own a job. Okay, there's no leverage within that because you're the main person generating the revenue. And this is what I was just talking about. If I can't step away from it and it still runs, it is my job. It's my job right now. So I need to leverage people. And like what Danny always says, I love how he framed this for me. I don't know how many writers he had last month. Somebody put it in the chat for me if you remember numbers like that. Let's call it 500 though. Okay. Let's call it 500. Danny goes, "This is why you want to build, Scott." He goes, "Last week, how many hours did you have in your week that you worked?" I said, "I worked 55 last week." He goes, "Okay, you had 55 hours. I had 500 riders last month. So if you multiply that by 55 hours and then multiply that by four, I had 110,000 hours and you had 55." I was like, oof, okay. So
That's such a
that
good, it's such a good perspective.
yeah, and that's really leverage, but we're talking about like hiring and services today. So think about it through that lens. But the amount of active work you do determines your income in that square. So if you ever want to get out of that square where you could take a break from your business and it doesn't backslide, or you can step into a director role without your business backsliding, we need to leverage people. And that's when you get into the business owner quadrant. There's a reason why we show this on the corporate overview because it's a perfect example of the ways that you can work through our business and leverage the system to create time freedom for yourself. Okay, because a business owner owns a system. It's not a job anymore. Okay, the income does not depend on the active work because you have people you work with that are helping you generate that revenue. So you can see yourself taking a vacation and then I heard a lot of people talk about this early on in the business, and I'm like, I can't wait until that happens. But they would make this Facebook post and be like, actually, Sarah probably did this to me. "I just took a week off in Mexico and I came back with more deposits in my bank account than I left with." And I'm just like, I want that. That would be amazing. That happened to Kate and I. We just went on vacation. That happened to us. It was incredible. 3 years later, we got it. Let's go, babe. But that's really what I wanted is to, when I do want to rest, I want to rest. When I do take time off, I want to be away and like recharge. I came back so recharged from this trip because I had systems in place when I left and I had people that my business kept running. It was really healthy while I was gone, Gabby, in a
Yeah.
nutshell. Okay. And we can't do that without leveraging. So anything else you would add to this graphic?
No, I mean, guys, this is the dream, right? This is to me, I look at this and this is the American dream, but it's right in our grasp here at Symmetry, right? And so, just working towards that bridge and it's also about lifestyle, right? Like building your lifestyle. It makes me think of Rob Dyrdek, right? His lifestyle, he hands his manual. Like our lifestyle is Fred's no longer, it's not a part of his life to mow the lawn. Like he's just past that,
Yeah.
right? It's not a part of my life to clean the house every Sunday the way that I was because I could use that time recharging and that's going to grow my business more than me cleaning the house on Sunday. Like when you start thinking in that way, everything you're building a lifestyle. That is what you're doing and you're leveraging people's time,
Yep.
right? Time and effort. That is business ownership.
Yeah. Yeah. And this may be a mindset shift that you need to take on and challenge yourself on. The cash flow quadrants by Robert Kiyosaki is really where this graphic came from. That's a great book. But really, like money problems. I mean, I grew up in a house, Gabby, where this was not the conversation. My dad's still working. He's going to be working for a while longer to get the retirement that he wants. Um, my dad really enjoyed mowing the lawn. Like things that he would say is like, "Oh, that's my me time.
Yeah.
I get my me time." And like that's just the way I was raised. If there was a service to be done at the house, my dad was rolling up his sleeves and saying like, "This is as a man of the house, this is my responsibility, my job to do." So he wasn't leveraging systems, very honorable because he wanted to take care of the upkeep of the house, but this wasn't a conversation with us growing up. So I had to adopt this mindset. I had to really challenge myself on, and it brings me back to this morning. You guys just saw in the comments, Kate texted me. I got a snowplow last year, and it's about to start snowing in the next couple days. Gabby, it was 31 degrees when I woke up this morning, or 30 degrees. Um, Probably a little bit warmer now. It's 46, but snow is coming. I live in Buffalo, which is kind of like Siberia. We get the lake effect, so it could snow 4 feet in the morning. I usually have to snowplow my morning or my driveway every morning just to get to the gym during the
No.
winter. Okay. So she texted me this morning and she's like, "Do you want to snowplow again this year?" And I was like, "Heck no. I really do enjoy snowplowing. I love it. I do it in 5-inch running shorts, and all my neighbors look at me like I'm really weird because I'm out there in the snow in really short shorts, and I'm just like, this is my thing." My neighbors probably are really annoyed by it. But I'm not going to do it this year. My time is so valuable to me. So I'm not going to do it this year because I can spend that time with my family, making them breakfast, getting the house ready for the day, getting Liam ready for play school, and like really getting value out of that time, that I would have to trade for snow plowing or trade for diving into business. Right. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, that. I mean, and it's even again, I go back to like you are building a lifestyle. Like Fred and I, we're TSA pre-check. We're global entry. Like we're not going to stand in the regular line. Like that's just the lifestyle. And you know what happened? We saw Mike and Sarah walk through TSA and we went to the regular line and we saw them just zoom through global entry and we went to the regular line and we decided it's an investment for us to get our time back because time is everything. We're TSA pre-check people. We're global entry people, right? You're building a lifestyle of what that looks like. And again, it just goes back to leverage and protecting your time. I think that that's probably in business owner, the most successful business owners protect their time. That that is it. And they leverage other people's time to protect their time. Like you're no longer willing to plow the snow because you need that time to recharge with your family so that you can show up at your best,
Yeah.
right? There was a time when plowing the snow served you. Maybe it was your workout, like your third workout for the day, or like whatever it was, but it doesn't anymore. Not this Scott, because this
Yeah.
Scott's lifestyle is different. And that's what we're building is a lifestyle.
Amen. All right, I'm going to stop sharing this. So I think we just kind of roundtable some ideas here for everyone that's listening. And if you guys have ideas in the chat of different roles and responsibilities within the agency, like feel free to chime in. I'm doing pretty decent at multitasking today. I'm reading the chat. This is great conversation. So yeah, feel free to chime in on some things. But Gabby, I made kind of a list of the different ways that we leverage our time and we can go through that and kind of talk about some of these things. And then, Sarah, if you want to chime in, once we get to services, I know how important this was to you,
And
to make sure. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
want to do the
The
making a list of
challenge.
everything you do.
You want to end with that,
Sure.
or do you want to do it now?
Yeah. So I want to hear from them what they think they do every day. Because one of the things we did to kind of build that, admin handbook or manual is, and one of the questions that I
Mm,
always get is what would my admin do? Like I hear you guys saying get an admin, but what would they do? And
great.
so what we did was make a list of literally everything that you do down to like your journaling, your reading. So like put it in the chat. Like what are things that you do in your day? Let's just make a list now. Like make a list of
Do
everything.
do everything that's not a gonna generate you an appointment in a policy.
Yeah.
Put all those things in the chat.
Yeah.
And while we're waiting for that to kind of curate, Gabby, my upline, Ashley Tarr, was the same way, gave us the same talking to when we were new. And she's like, hey, look, if you want to stay in business, you got to produce. Recruiting is producing and producing is recruiting. And she's like, at a bare minimum, you need to be able to issue 10K a month on your own pen, bare minimum until you hit
Yeah.
130. And she gave us kind of like this golden number. She's like, I would even do it until like you're issuing 300K because, and I didn't realize then because I did the math when I was an 80%. And I was like, I'm not going to need to write business if I'm issuing 300K. There's no way I'm going to be free, but I didn't think about all the different ways we would upgrade our business, the employees that we have, and the services that we are using along the way. So I'm investing into that time leverage, like we've been talking about this whole call. So not all of that is income. That's business profit that goes into paying our employees.
Mhm.
Okay, so I did want to make that point. If we're issuing 300K, I'm not just going to take 15% of that and say that's my income. We
Yep.
actually pay ourselves very little, Gabby. You
Yeah.
know, we're on a set income every single month. We pay ourselves very little, bare minimum that we possibly can, so that we can leverage the business profit back into the business because we want to take this thing to the moon. Put a four in the chat if you want to take this thing to the moon.
Yep.
Delayed gratification. Once you get to a new contract level, don't eat that money. Okay, there's a difference between bread and seed.
Invest it back into your business. You are
Yeah.
investing when you hire a nanny, when you hire the cleaner. But I see some things like, tracking deposits, right? Updating slides for our weekly agency call,
Cooking breakfast. Yeah.
cleaning, pending business.
Get people
Um,
onboarded.
yeah, get people onboarded, and so like
Celebrations. Yeah.
celebrations, making welcome pictures of new
Yep.
agents.
Oh, this is good. Pending biz follow-ups. This is really good for today's conversation. Underwriting, laundry, cooking dinner. It looks like Sarah made us a list. Uh, Clean house, cook, laundry, update social media, recruit, and a lot more. Okay, I feel you, Sarah. Sarah Gordon, I absolutely feel you. I actually did the exercise that Gabby's speaking about, and I listed out all the different roles that I would love to have in my business, and most of them are going to come true here in the next couple months if they're not already taken care of.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you're going to make this list of everything that you do, and then you're going to take out the ones that only you can do. And that list is
That's good.
actually pretty small, right? Because there are a lot of things that you can outsource. I saw people cooking, right? Like one of our dreams when we get there, Scott, is to have a
To have
chef.
a chef.
Have
Yep.
a chef,
Same.
baby. Like I don't want to cook. I want like good, healthy
Until
meals to be made for
until
me.
then, factor meals are like eight or
Right.
$9 a meal. Throw it in the microwave. Kelly Bush did a call on that, right? Like
Yep.
throw it in the microwave, you got your meal for lunch.
Yep.
You have to spend half hour getting everything out of the fridge and putting it together.
Yeah. So only things that you can do, you take those out. And guys, there you have the possibilities of different people that you can hire, the possibilities of the things that your admin can do. Because a lot of people, Scott, always ask me, like, what would I even have them do? Well, what are you doing in your day? Like list out everything.
Yep.
And
Can
then
I
what's going to keep you in your superpower?
can I add one that I didn't really see in the chat, but I see
Please.
so many people do that they probably shouldn't be doing unless their name is Bridget Langford. Who's doing their own accounting and taxes?
Oh my gosh.
Mm.
Yes.
How much did your life change, Scott, when you had someone else do that? Like I always was like
Not
a
not
numbers
just
person.
doing
I'm like
not
I
just
can
doing
do
it,
it.
Fred, but like having an advisor that will coach you on the right things to do. Because think about the world of taxes and how in depth that could be, especially at like once you start growing your business bigger, like all the different things that could save you money at the end of the year. Gosh, man, yeah, good
Yeah,
point. I
I'm
just
going to
heard
chime
kids
in.
comment from the other room.
I'm going to chime in on that too. First of all, I cannot believe she's doing her own, power to her. But second, that was a big decision for us. And it very much felt like we're really going to spend this much. I would spend double. It has saved us. It has put us on the right track. It allowed us to get things organized and get ourselves on a W-2 to better our future and to better our business. Because before we were kind of just like paying ourselves whatever and not really tracking it. Our CPA helped us really get everything in line and it has blessed us immensely. But it can feel like a big decision to go and spend that, but it is so worth it. It is so worth it.
Absolutely. Fred would spend so much time in spreadsheets, tracking deposits, dispositioning them in QuickBooks. No, like
Yeah.
he was worth so much more to me finding us our next business partner.
Yep.
Right now, he's worth even more for me writing an annuity. Like,
Oh
go
yeah.
get to
Oh
work.
yeah.
Don't spend time in that in the spreadsheets. It's not for you. That's not something that's in your life or your schedule anymore. You're done with that. You've outgrown that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Hey,
speaking of
I was gonna,
the
sorry, just really quickly.
yeah, go ahead.
Whenever you're making that list, Gabby, that you guys talked about, I think the other thing is what can only you do? And then also, what is your genius? Right. So like for me, I have never hired out recruiting or interviews. I'm never going to do that as long as I'm able because that's my genius. I want to connect. I want to talk to them. If I hired that piece out, they're not connecting to Sarah Reineke. They're not getting a feel for who we are. For some people, if that is not their genius and they have a hard time communicating that out, that makes sense. But for me, that's my genius, right? So like, if production is your thing, you're like, man, I am efficient. I can go do this. I can get this done. Then stay in that, right? So there are certain things that only you can do, but there's also a smaller section that is your genius, where
Yep.
you shine. So if you're really good at that, don't give that away. When I see really good recruiters hire out their initial interviews, I'm always like, I mean, you're the secret
Careful.
sauce, man. Like,
Yeah, be careful.
don't give that away, because they're not getting the secret sauce if somebody you hired from a different country is doing your initial
This
interview, right?
this was the first on my list, Sarah. So I run every first interview,
Yeah,
and I really think that's effective. Like
me
I
too.
will not hire that out.
Yeah,
So that was the first one for me was interviews, sales coach, trainer, and like leadership. That's my genius. There's one that probably stands out more than the other three, but that's my genius.
yep,
So everything else I want off my plate. I
yep,
want to hire it out. I want to find a service for it. I want to leverage.
yep.
This even came to a point, Sarah, where I was like, even looking at my emails is bogging me
Oh,
down.
for sure.
Can I
Yep,
have my admin go
yep,
through my emails first thing in the morning and just leave what's in there, like the
yep.
important things that I need to look at? So I pop in there and there's like 7 emails there for
Yes.
me that I need to look at. And I'm like, great. Now I can be the interviewer, the sales coach, the trainer, the encourager, and the leadership guy.
Yeah. The first thing I did was give my corporate admin or corporate email to Amanda. I'm the same. When I see all those opt emails, I'm like, oh, I can't even start this day. I feel
Oof.
overwhelmed. I can't. I will tell you, Susie never gave that away. She's kept it because that doesn't overwhelm her. She can like delete, 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 multitask, like she's on it. For me, that made me feel heavy, bogged down, overwhelmed to start the day, and I couldn't do it. Right. So just two different perspectives on that. And I saw someone, when do you know? Well, you have to do all the things initially to kind of figure out what your genius is. And
Right.
Yeah.
you'll start figuring out like the place, and you'll know it's your genius when you feel more excited and jazzed after doing it versus depleted and like spreadsheets and like the contracting stuff. Like my brain cannot do it, and I have to extend double, triple the amount of energy to stay focused on tasks like that. And I'm triple
Same.
tired. So if
Same.
you're
So we're
jazzed and
very similar,
excited,
Sarah.
yeah.
We're very, very similar.
Yep, absolutely. And I mentioned earlier, Jared and I went to a breakout session where Pritchett said, "You're only as strong. You're only your business and yourself. You're only as strong as your hires." And until you get that, like you don't truly have a business, you have a job. And we're like, oh God, that's so true. And now we can leave town. We have Amanda who took a vacation last week. And I realized like, oh my God, I cannot
How
live this
dare
life.
she?
I mean, we got to talk to her about this. I don't know if that's in her contract. I don't know.
She said sorry.
There's
But
the
it
next
reminds
level. Can the business still run when the director of operations leaves? That's the
that's
level.
the
And I'm sure
actual
it
bigger
did. I'm
That's
sure
issue.
it
next
did, Sarah.
level.
Yeah.
Yes. And then the other thing I was going to mention, there are resources. There's an admin handbook in HQ. So if you want to go in there and see what's in there, like that's a really great place to start.
Monthly admin call.
There's a monthly admin call. And if you don't have an admin, you're the admin. So you might want to go to that admin call,
Yep.
right? If you're doing these tasks, you might want to go to that, before you have that admin. You want them to become friends with each other and kind of, and when we hired Amanda, we told her part of her job is to train new admins along the way. She knows, and that actually makes her job easier. She loves it when we hire new, and she's like, "Yes, ma'am, we love to hire the new admin." Trisha has one, Jamie has one, Tesha has one, a bunch of them have them now,
Yeah.
and that makes her job easier. So if she can train them correctly on the front end, her
And
job.
it may take you a while to work your way up to the right person.
Yeah.
But that's what running a business is all about is hiring and firing the right people,
Yep.
right? And you may need to level up along the way. So I've actually had a really good experience with admins at each level of pay. I had really good ones. But the one we have now, she's amazing. I really don't think that we would be able to do what we do without her. So Kellen, if you're watching this, you're irreplaceable. I value you so much, and I wish I could pay you double what I pay you. I had this like weird feeling, and just because of a few comments she made that maybe corporate was trying to recruit her back to corporate, and this was a couple, maybe a month or two ago. I felt so sick to my stomach for like a week. I was at war because I was like, this is how valuable this person is to me. Like Kate
Yep.
kept telling me, she's like, relax. She's happy. She gets to make decisions and she gets to guard her schedule. She doesn't want to go back to corporate, all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to war. I'm preparing for the worst. Like this is going to be, so hiring the right people is so valuable that it can make you, it can make you feel like I do if you're going to lose that system. But
But a note on that, guys. I knew Kellen wasn't going to leave because she tells us all the time that she enjoys working with us because we're excited.
Yep.
If you guys don't know Kellen, she was Ashley's admin. She worked for corporate. Like she's been in this industry with Symmetry since the beginning. Like she knows every single detail. We are extremely blessed to have somebody that knows all the ins and outs. But she has worked with other people too that she's like, they're not excited. She loves working with us because we're excited. So that's something to be aware of too, is like who you hire wants to know that they're running after something and helping you run after something. So I knew she wasn't going to leave because she's told us over and over and over again that she really enjoys working with us. And I would
Yeah.
have
I
moved in
think
with my
culture within
parents.
your agency is important. I think culture with your staff members is important too. Like we use Toby for issue paid and new business management. So that's let's go through the list a little bit and then
Yeah.
where the conversation takes us. We got 15 minutes. But new business and issue paid manager, because logging into every carrier and checking the issue paid, like, oh my gosh. I
Can you one question I like to ask Scott is, can I imagine Edward Pritchett doing that? Would Edward Pritchett spend his time checking his pending for his base shop?
No,
The
no.
answer is hell no.
No.
yeah,
And the
and
goal is to
like
be able to hire out more and more and more because that's where the
Right.
freedom comes from, as Pritchett said, right?
Lifestyle.
Initially, you've got to feel all of it. So if you
yeah,
feel overwhelmed, congratulations, you're right where you're supposed to be.
You're building a business.
And
yeah,
doesn't every CEO that you know who truly can say, man, I've done every part of this business, you respect that person. So you've got to feel that along
yeah.
the way. I will also say we fired our first admin and it was uncomfortable. She was actually a friend, that she was a room mom that it was in our business, but we got to a point we weren't ethically and morally aligned. So I learned that was really important that I have to trust that if I'm not in the room, that person knows what I would want and who I am. Right. Like that has to be something that is aligned. So the lessons we learned, that was one of them. The lessons we learned from that first hire, whenever we hired Amanda, our questions were seriously like, hey, how do you feel about this? Like the lessons we learned guided the questions in the interview with Amanda, right? To make sure that we didn't make those mistakes again. So,
Yeah.
and Pritchett will say, hire slow, fire fast, right?
Yep.
So if it's not the right person, you can't afford to have the wrong person in your business. Get some guidance on that from, your upline or your AO or 130 on when it's time to get rid of that
I would
person.
also
You got to
say
be
trust
willing to do
fast
that.
and lose trust fast, because that's a role that could be a slippery slope if they're not doing the things and
Yeah.
or not doing it the right way once they're trained. But anyways, that's just
Yep.
going back to culture too. Sarah, like these employees, the services that you do hire, make them feel valued as much as you
Oh,
can,
yeah.
like just like you would an agent, because that's the culture of your business, of your enterprise, right? So I think that's really, really important is don't overlook the things that you do for your agents to make them feel special when it comes to the services and the people that you're working with.
Yeah.
You want them to be joyful while they're working for you and not like, oh, she asked me to do another thing or he asked me to do another task. He's just over
Yeah.
there not
But
doing anything.
also vice versa, Scott, like your admin, like we were very clear with Amanda, like our agents, that's our product, right? Like that is the locomotive of this entire business. If these agents aren't happy and thriving and profitable and issuing business, none of us have jobs, right? Like our job is to keep them happy and making money. Like that was so, and I learned that from Jacob. Laura, all of them, all the admins that he's ever hired, he was so protective of how they treated. It's like Chick-fil-A, right? Like, man, we'll figure it out. We'll solve problems. Laura is even Steven.
Yeah.
Like you can't shake her, right? Because she's so grateful for all of us because she loves her lifestyle too. So it has to work both ways to where, because if all of your agents are going through that admin for their contracting, everything, like it's got to be a positive experience both ways, right? Because that's the filter on both sides of this business.
One thing I want to add, because you guys are talking about like Laura Potts, like Kellen, like you can also have a virtual assistant. We have a VA that we don't pay a ton for, but she literally, guys, runs our business. And when you have an admin, you have to inspect what you expect from them. Like it takes a second to train them and get them going, but sometimes, people are like, oh, this admin didn't work or this admin, like, and kind of like him hawing about it. But it's like, how well did you set them up for success? Right. Because sometimes some of you are going to start from scratch. Maybe you're, your friend's friend or an admin's friend or, whatever. You can get an admin to train them, but also you have to inspect what you expect from them. And VAs work as well. We have a VA. She's been with us for almost 4 years. She does everything for us. And we're super blessed with that. We're looking for someone in the States, right? Kind of a director of ops. That's our next kind of big hire.
I
But
think you got to go admin first before director of ops, because at the
right,
beginning, it's just getting all the things off your plate.
the little
And
things. Yeah.
yeah,
She
yeah,
does our social media. She does all of that. So don't feel like you have to find this like badass, you're paying $20 an hour, type of
exactly.
person.
Yeah.
Not at all. Virtual
Yeah.
assistants can be a huge, huge blessing to your business as you're building your business.
We started at $14 an hour, and it was an agent that this opportunity didn't work out for them, and she already kind of knew what she was doing here. She spoke the language already. But I do
Yeah.
want to go back to one point that Sarah made. Kate made a comment about it in the chat. You do need to learn how to cook, clean the kitchen, open up shop, close shop. Like, the reason why this whole conversation was birthed into a BABB call is because I was so frustrated, and Kate was so frustrated doing all these things for too long. Some of these things too long, but that was valuable for us. We learned how to do all the things. I think the issue paid report is probably the only aspect of my business that I've never actually handled myself. So I would be messed up if I lost Toby. I'd have to scramble very quickly. But that's the only aspect, from producing to building, onboarding, symmetry applications, support tickets, contracting. I've done everything, and that's the only thing really that I haven't touched. So it is important to do that. We're just encouraging you guys, or bullying, call it what you want, that you need to step into a more of an enterprise mindset so that you can get help, so that you can grow, right? What's keeping you away from production right now? That should be the list. What's keeping you away from an interview? That should be the list.
Can I also, I saw a lot of the cook, clean, all those types of things. Okay, mom's talking to you. Talking to you. Because if you're anything like me, that's what pulled me away from the things I needed to do, because I'm a teacher, I'm a, mom, I like my house clean, I like to cook for my family, I like laundry to be done, I hate dishes in the sink. Do we have anybody else like this that is like me? That I cannot be, put a one in the chat if you're like me. Like, I cannot be functional if I feel like my house and family is not
In
running,
order.
because yeah, I mean, and when people come over, they don't judge Jared, they judge me in my mind if the house is messy, like, so, it's easy for, this is why I'm like, I heard Devin say, I need a wife. I've said this for years. I'm like, just one, I don't need a lot, but like those of you that have wives, you're so lucky. But it was hard for me to not cook. It was hard for me to not do that. So some things that I had to do before I could hire all that out. One is like,
No.
Oh no.
She's not even at her house and she's losing her Wi-Fi.
I think she's at the lake house. Yeah, Kate, I saw you shaking your head super hard, and Sarah Hadley, I saw your comment in the chats. Like, that's so important to me too. I want to talk until Sarah gets back on. I want to talk about two roles. I had a
not
conversation. Oh,
during income producing time. That's not charging over there.
Sorry, guys.
Frozen on my black hair.
yeah, we're losing you a little bit. Oh, I can hear you from Jared's now. Cool.
Go over there.
Can you?
Yep, we're good now.
There's two of you.
Let's unpin the other one. We're good, Sarah.
Jared to the rescue. Go.
Maybe. Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Some things that I had to do was remember, like, if I had a job like teaching, I could not leave during my lunch break to go clean the house and do those things, right? So I had to pretend like, okay, if I had a normal job and I was gone from here, I can't do those things during the work day. So it's either get up earlier before you go to bed, like have a routine between 9 and 10 p.m. where you get your house picked up, your dishes done, like the laundry caught up, like get those things done there, block that time out. And then also outsource some cooking, whether that's, Jared did a lot of the cooking, a lot of the, a lot of chili nights, spaghetti nights. I also asked my mom to bring over a casserole on Mondays, or some things you can order. Like, you can't be A+ housewife and cook and production and building. You can't get A+ in all those things, but you can block the time off to where, nope, I'm not going to go and do those dishes right now because I've got to get this production done. But if you get it done before the day starts or after the day is over, you can think clearly, right? Don't let yourself get those noble obstacles to take you off course.
I heard your "I need a wife" comment before, and I do want to say Kate will walk in the office and bring me snacks and hand me a coffee now.
Yeah.
Kate was triple dialing and booking appointments and running in, she was doing it all before months before I got here. So I got my wife back, but at the beginning of our business, she was on the other side of the office wall and we were competing to who could sell a policy that day because we needed to stay alive in this business. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm bringing it back to like reality there. Like there was a time that Kate had to, but yeah, it's great to have a wife now. Oh my
But
God.
it's seasons. Like that was a season, and that season ended when we decided to start a family. There
Yep.
was a season where I literally couldn't do anything. Now Liam's old enough to go to play school and Olivia's napping. So there's seasons and seasons end. But we're in a position now where we can hire out different things. Like I'll tell you guys, Scott doesn't even know, but right now our golden retriever is being groomed in a van outside the house because for us to take the car seats out, you guys know we only have one car right now to take the car seats out and take him to the groomer, that's time we don't have. It's easier for crews to just get groomed with a mobile grooming thing. So like things like that, it's just complete stress free because then it rolls into the house. He's not shedding all over. It helps us keep things cleaner. But there was a season where we couldn't do that. But you have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it goes back to what is the most important thing that business owners protect? Their time. Their time. And I want to say for anybody on this call, because we have lots of couples, right? Like Fred and I, Kate and Scott, Jared and Sarah, anybody who kind of has this thought of, well, I'm by myself and I don't have a husband or I don't have a
Hey,
wife.
I think we need honesty in the chat because I hear this a lot, right?
I
Like,
hear it too.
hey, put a 2 in the chat. Let's be honest. If you're like, must be nice, there's only one of me and 2 of them. Let's hear it. I want to know who's
Be honest.
Okay,
Yep.
while we're waiting for those
I knew
twos
it.
to
I
roll
hear
in,
this a lot.
because they're
Yeah.
coming, it's
Yeah.
hard to run a business with your spouse. You guys, it's like, especially going back to the beginning phases, when do they leave the field to help support with the things? You don't have an extra employee at your expense. You have another producer because think about it. If Kate was making money at her career and I was making money at my career, and we both quit to come here, and then she stops production, that means that we went from two incomes to one. So that couldn't be right away. It had to be both at the same time. So think about revenue generating employees versus non-revenue generating employees and when you can move through those phases. When you're just by yourself, you don't have to pay anybody from day one. Okay. So I'm not saying it must be nice. Like I think both are good. But don't use it as an excuse.
How
So-
long? I was by myself for 3 years. I mean, Jared was, he was helping with taking the kids to, he had a job. And so he had the benefits and he helped with cooking and he helped take the kids and he was supportive and donating plasma for money. But the business side, I was doing this by myself. Gabby, how long were you by yourself before Fred was here?
4 years.
4 years, right?
Yeah.
So like you see Gabby and Fred, you see Jared and Sarah now, but like it was Gabby, Fred helping in the background, Sarah, being, Jared was supportive in the background, but it wasn't like that from the beginning.
Yeah.
We did all the things. And most
Absolutely.
are like that.
And for all the must be nicers, okay, I want you to like own the fact that it is just you getting to make decisions. You can make quick decisions without having to kind of run it by your spouse or this or that. You own your business, like own this call of like, instead of must be nice or maybe like, oh, I'm all by myself, like no, own the fact that you own this business, you get to call the shots and hire out what you can, right? Like you have to start somewhere. And just also lose the must be nice mentality. I promise
If
you
you're
it doesn't
feeling
hurt you.
like a little
Yeah.
bullied by this call, or your admin or your running buddy or your coach is like, just know that it comes from a place of love. Wilbur was bullied into getting a babysitter and he got a babysitter. Wilbur was bullied into getting an admin and getting some help and get things off his plate. And it's going to bless his business tenfold. I know Michael Matthews is about to get an admin. We were bullied into getting an admin, but we say bully in like a joking way. It comes from a place of love. It comes from a place of don't want you to suffer as much as we did. Do it sooner.
Yep.
Yep.
With those
Yeah.
couples, I mean, this is where like Michael and I day, like when I see, and Christina and Andrew, when I see couples, my next thought is like, but that's not freedom. That's not freedom. If your spouse is your admin and you're on a trip and your spouse has to go back up to the room to do issue paid business or, look at the disputes and things like that, that's not actual
That's
freedom.
not the lifestyle.
So I'll
Yeah.
let you get away with it for a little bit. Then I'm going to start knocking on the door being like, hey, when are we making a hire? Because that's not the goal. The goal isn't to just outsource to the spouse. That's never
Right.
going to be what it is. So yeah.
Do we want to do
We're gonna
questions?
run 4 or 5 minutes late today. Fred, you had
Oh
one
man.
thing, and then
Yeah,
I want to
Gab, I
recap.
just wanted to add because a couple people have kind of texted. I don't know why they're texting me. They must assume I'm the one that did the manual. But people have texted like, "Hey, can I get y'all's manual?" And so one, our admin's been here 3 years now, so like things have updated. She's just kind of on top of it, so it's not up to date. But like I think the second part of what can help each and every one of you have a manual within a week is take 20, 30 minutes, write out all those tasks that aren't income producing. And then the second thing is when you do that task the next time, video yourself, do a Loom, do a Vimeo. And then now all of a sudden you have the task, you have how often you do it, and you have a video of how to do it. And 7 days from now, you have a complete up to date admin manual. That is the fastest and best way to do that because if
That's a
you're
great idea.
expecting what you expect, you create that video of how you want it to be done. Now that admin can refer to that instead of coming back to you with questions every 2 seconds of, wait, how do I do this? Or you spending 10,000 hours trying to write out every single step of a task. Just video yourself doing each one and thank me.
That's exactly how we did it. And I've gotten questions too of send me your admin handbook. No, because our business looks different than yours, right? Like it's an exercise that you're going to go through to be able to do that and see all the time that you're spending on these tasks and all the time you would get back by hiring. So it's an exercise. Do it. It's worth it.
So good, man. That was Fred. You made a bunch of friends with that insight. I'm so glad you're my friend because I get to learn things like that. Recap real quick, and then I'll go to Trevor Tipton. We talked about sales coach and trainer. We talked about that leader and encourager, like those, like talking about my strengths here and not wanting to be an admin. We talked about new business and issue paid manager. We talked about recruiter. We talked about admin tasks, minutia. We talked about taxes and having a tax advisor. Activation liaison, someone that's sending out symmetry invites and stuff like that. And this may be one person that's doing a lot of these things. This may be you right now, but it's that task of writing out all the tasks, like Gabby was talking about at the very beginning, and realizing how much is taking your time away from production and actually running an interview. 2 more things I want to talk about, and I'll just say it. We don't really have to dive too deep into them, but I learned this from Craig McManaman. And if you don't know anything about Craig, the dude busts out about 30 promotions a month at this point. Okay, so he's doing something right. A chief celebration officer, someone creating the graphics and tracking the milestones and getting the celebrations in your hands so that you don't have to. And that can go back to like numbers tracking and all that stuff where they're actually letting you know when people are hitting these milestones and creating the graphics so that you can celebrate them in your team chats. The second one would be chief reminding officer. I thought it was cute what he called it. It's so important because we do want to leverage the system. But when I was new, who do I text? Who do I get on this call? Who do I need to remind to be on the national? Who do I need to remind about our team call? We actually have a web-based platform and we set up automations for our 3 calls that we invite. We remind everyone about 3 a week. They go out automatically every single week, and we plug all of our new agents in there from the day that they come on board. So they're getting invited into calls from day one. Yep, it's called Textedly. It's a web-based platform. So we just migrate all of our phone numbers into there, and we create a group automated text that goes out 3 times a week for the 3 calls that we promote. And gosh, it's saved me so much time of wondering like, I just had this new guy on the second interview last week and he was amazing. I would love for him to be on the team call today. Who was that? Gosh, I'm racking my brain now. I got to send this text. Nope. Take it off your plate. Like, so anyways, Trevor, if you want to close us out.
I'd asked this earlier. You and I have had this conversation, Scott. I think it's really important for the people that are going, well, hey, I can't afford it, right? Like I can't, like, where am I going to get this money? I'm here. Talk about the weeks when you were scaling, and I'm sure Gabby and Fred will tell you the same thing. You've wrote your business, you've paid everything, your admins are paid, and you're waiting for a deposit, and you have $72 in the business bank account because you just got them paid, but you got them paid that week. Everybody's going to go through it if they haven't yet. talk about that. I think that's something that's really important.
What about feeling like Friday was coming and you didn't have the money in there and the deposit, the automatic
Yeah.
transfer was coming out. The automatic transfer was coming out for your admin, and you're at Thursday, and that automatic transfer is coming out Friday, and you have Thursday to get money in there. Or maybe it's Wednesday, you realize you're not going to be able to land the plane and get that person paid. So you change your activity. This is going to make you hustle. I care more about getting my people paid than paying myself.
Yep.
I
Right.
care, like I will never miss getting one of my people paid. So that was me on Wednesday, like, holy crap, I gotta work late. I gotta make sure I get an instant decision policy done by Thursday so that the money's there on Friday. We've all felt this, we've all been there. Okay. Please hire this person before it feels comfortable. Please. That is the message for today. Whatever the next step is that you need to take to leverage your time better, hire it before you feel comfortable, but know that it's not going to come without growing pains.
Yep. And then I'll just say, I'll end with, going back to the number one rule of business, and that is to stay in business. You're building a lifestyle, right? You're getting your time back, and that's going to come as you continue to be profitable. Even when you are profitable, right? There's going to be the weeks that Trevor just talked about and Scott just talked about. We've had them too. Like, they happen. You're building a business, and first rule of business, stay in business always.
That's it.
That was so much fun.
I can't wait to post this on our YouTube channel, Gabby. This was a really good one, very helpful, and thank you for everyone for hanging out and providing great value.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. That's
Absolutely.
That was awesome, guys. Thank you.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. What's up, Devin?